Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video we're going to see how the calves have done for the year as we are putting in the last of them. So the batch we have here is our best and our worst batch combined, so I think it's 72 good ones and 25 bad ones. You can tell pretty straight away, good ones, bad ones. The reason why they're together is we are after TB testing. We've everything is TB tested. We come off today perfectly clean, everything 110% fine, clear, great. The reason this batch is together, if we insert the clip here, so on the road, the annual migration home from the big field. Pan! A few stragglers from the group. That's our bottoms at the minute. Flooded out of about 15 acres. 20 acres underwater down there at the minute. So yeah, lot of rain. These are the last to go in now. Eventually get them there. You'll see when we're bringing them back to TB test them, because of the flood on the bottoms, we couldn't get our lowest batch or worst batch across the river, so we had to bring them up on the road, so we put them together to bring them in. So anyways, this video is also sponsored by Herdwatch. If you don't know who Herdwatch are, they are for all your farm recording needs. We're going to be weighing them, dosing them and recording any missing tags using the app, so that it's all on it. It's dead straightforward. Well, we won't get to see what kind of daily weight gains they've had, but with our bulls and that's when it comes into play. When you're weighing constantly, it gives you your daily weight gains every time, which is very nice to see. So anyways, we're going to get stuck in. It's just me at this. Father Phil is diet feeding and needs to go off and deliver a load of hay, and Liv is away sorting out beef for the pumpkin patch that's only a few days away. So I'm here by my lonely with just under 100 calves and Ish Beanie and 1056 and another heifer there somewhere to get dust sorted and whatnot. So anyways, without further ado, we're going to get stuck into it, and as I go through calves, we'll let you know how they've done this year. We'll pick out a few of the interesting calves, like some massive lumps of calves on it. So there is some of the calves now, probably some of the best calves we've had ever. But yeah, as we go through it, we'll show you a few. But anyways, I better get stuck into it, because this is probably going to take me a while. So we're here dosing with Levy Fast Diamond, which is a drench. What a drench means is it goes down the neck. So no manual labour involved in it. And the reason we're dosing is to kill parasites, the likes of worms. And I think Levy Fast Diamond is fluke as well, but the big one for us is lungworm, which is a big problem for us here, and was a problem with 2 batches this year, which I'll explain later. The lungworms are a bloody nuisance on cattle. Also there'll be stomach worms, liver fluke and rumen fluke, but the worms is the big one, and that's why we're dosing. And because we're going into the shed now, and hopefully later on onto the rape, or definitely in another video, it's important to get rid of the worm burden after coming in off the grass. So this will clear them out. Now this isn't the dose we wanted to use. We were planning on using Torador, which is a boron on the back, but when we ordered it a couple of days ago, they didn't get in the co-op in time, and this job needs to be done now. As we're finished testing, these were the last batch to be done, and then these are joining another batch in the shed, but we will be taking out a few of the smaller calves to go in a different shed. So yeah, it's a bit stressful when I'm on my own trying to do this. It's not simple. So the other job we're doing after dosing is weighing. So get it opened up on my phone. So weighing each calf to see how they've done for the summer. Some of the calves not so well, but some of them have done quite well. No, trying to keep them one at a time, a bit hard. 195. So that guy there has done well. reason we weigh them is to track the performance of the cattle through their lives on the farm, and it allows us to see which farms we're buying off are performing better than others, and which sires farmers are using perform better. It helps us, well, make better decisions when it comes to buying. Now that guy there is one of the ones that come off our worst batch. He's one of the sicker calves, and he'll be coming out from this batch to go on a shed with about 20 or 30 to get some extra TLC. The other thing that weighing them allows us to do is see how the different batches perform against each other, to see, well, what was different between batches, different grass, whether it's fresh grass or old grass is in, whether it's reseeded or not, or just even the ground for that matter. The different parcels of the land seem to feed differently than others, which we'll touch on later on how the overall our bulls and heifers done now that they're all in and weighed. There'll be a list on Herdwatch of all the cattle I've weighed, and then I can use that same list to put the dose and stuff we dosed with to that batch. They're all dosed instead of individually having to pick them out. And the same then when it comes to checking ear tags. As they go through the weighing scales, every animal has to be read, it's tagged, to put the weight to it, and then I also get to check to see how tags, and then that way every animal on the farm, I know where they are and when they are, and you just check everything. So here we have, oh no you don't, one of our best speckled packs of the year. I don't think there's 2 or 3 more speckled packs here, but I'm pretty sure this is the best one. Heifer, 190 kilos. A little bit disappointed, thought she'd have been a bit heavier. I've 20, hang on a second, 34 animals done, and I have about 7 or 8 over 200 Friesians, so thought speckled pack to be a bit heavier, but still a very lovely shapy bit of an animal. Speckled packs are the bulls in the sheds that we've weighed. They are looking very, very good. Not the heaviest, again, like the speckled packs here, still not heavier than a good few of the Friesians, but very, very tasty looking cattle all the same. 215 kilo calf. Also, help has arrived. You may remember her, it's been a while. Planting the spuds would have been the last one.
Yeah, well, silent one.
So, oh yeah, my sister is here. She's just come in to give me a hand just to work the phone, just to make my life a little bit easier. Nearly halfway now too, so 35.48, 145. But yeah, we're getting there, slowly but surely. Come on. Here, that's Ishbini's mother, the lonely cow on the farm. So she's getting her worm dose now. So she was put in with the calves because just for the test, and then she's going to be taken away from them now and brought out to the lawn for the pumpkin patch along with Ishbini, who's still in the chute there. But that's 10.56, the lonely cow. 400 on the move. Not I done much this year. Father Phil is just moving the last of the machines out of the shed they're going into. That's why you seen the 788 earlier, now the 400. So hopefully all that will be ready when we get that done to put them in, and then tonight we'll be rearranging the workshop or the shed inside. We'll make a video on that. There's some interesting things to be coming up in that. Anyways, Ishbini, where's Ishbini? There's Ishbini. I can take this out of the way now. So here is Ishbini. Not right, Ishbini. Nice wee calf. So Ishbini is on the scales and she's off the scales. I want to know what weight she was. Bold Ishbini. So another chute full. I just wanted to show you something and just talk a little bit about the TB test. So you can kind of see. The red guy will be a good shot. You can see 2 stripes. You can't really see, it's not a good spot. See, you can just about see where there's 2 stripes, shaved off 2 bits of hair, and they get 2 injections, one top, one bottom. Top one I think is avian TB or it's avian something or other. The bottom one is the tuberculosis one. And then based on the lumps that come up, if lumps come up, if you have a bottom lump you're in trouble, and a top lump doesn't matter, but it becomes the top lumps and bottom lump sizes, but we're fully clean. That's one of them things, every year the TB test comes, there's always this just kind of tensious feeling to it. Will we get locked down this year? We haven't, touch wood, we haven't been locked down with TB since 2012, 10 years clear. Touch wood, stays that way. Because we buy off so many different herds, the batches of cattle are in a couple of different townlands. We always feel very vulnerable to getting it, and we do actually have 1, maybe 2 badger sets on the farm. I know of 1, there may be a second one down the pass, but they're not annoying us, so we won't be annoying them. But every time it comes around to that time of year, you're just anxious. Until next year, this year, TB test is over. Until this time next year, we're safe. But anyways, we get back to tripping and dusting and whatnot. So here we have 4196. You may remember him in the shed. He's one of our NRX, so he's a Norwegian Red Cross. Nice bit of shape to him. He's done quite well. He's 175 kilos. But what makes it more interesting is he's a Norwegian Red out of a Jersey Cross cow. So he's JEX Cross Norwegian Red. He's a lovely colour in him, and he's done quite well for the summer. And there's quite a few NRXs out there. You can see it there. There's quite a few Norwegian Red Crosses out there. We got quite, I think we have 7 or 8. And I'd say if we averaged them all up, we are around the 180, 190 kilo on average between them 7 or 8 calves. There's a couple of them 220, 215. Incredibly well. Whatever bull the farmer uses, all off the one farm, whatever bull he used, that Norwegian Red bull is producing superb calves. Anyways, we're nearly there. One more shoot, all the 6s. So here we have what I'm thinking is our biggest calf, because he's a good bit taller than the rest. And he is 240 kilos. We actually had another calf there, 240 kilos. How much did he do a day?
0.75 kg.
0.75 kilos. Attaboy. On them, all our best weighing calves have come from the one farm, nearly. They're nearly all over 200 kilos with the exception of about 3. I think we bought 40 off them. I think it was 2 batches of 20. We have about 40 off them. And they're nearly all weighing over 200 kilos. And the difference between them, 3059, difference between them and the other batches is we bought them about 6 weeks old. 135. And that's the difference. Big comparison. Big difference there in a calf that just gets a bit more on the farm he's born on before it comes to us. So we're really thinking for next year. Changing up our buying practices to try and buy older calves, because they seem to be doing far better than calves are brought in that bit younger. And now that is all weighed and dust at long last. Big thanks to Jessica for helping me, because I'd still be at it only for her. All in all, this batch of calves here, we have 25 of the worst calves that back in July we pulled all the worst calves out of all the batches, put them in one batch to look after them rightly. And then 72 I think it was of the best, where we put one batch and we siphoned off good ones off another batch to reduce numbers, and we hemmed and we chopped and changed as we normally do. The best of the best calves. We'll probably have the most calves over 200 kilos this year. About 40 of the calves here are over 200 kilos. About 40%. Lovely, smashing. A few in the shed too that we weighed the other day over 200. But we have quite a few light calves. And apart from one herd where nearly all the calves are perfect, there's a big difference between, and I'll see can I find where we have like literally two sets of calves, same farm, but just completely different altogether. I see can I put 2 and 2 together. So here's one here, 2457. He was one of the ones that was put in the sick batch. One of the big things we found was them, our worst calves we put together on a batch. We put them on the bridge field, good fresh reseeded grass from 4 or 5 years ago. they done very well. In other years we'd have our worst calves. They'd always be very bad looking calves. He's not too bad. He's looking quite healthy. Even when we had the vet out, he was saying they did look very, very nice. Very good for considering what they were at one time. They have quite turned the corner. But just give you an example, that's 24.57. I'll find another one, the large 24s. Give you an idea. There's 24.66. And there's a calf. He's never had anything go wrong with him because look at him. He's a lovely, lovely bit of an animal. Just walk them over beside each other there. So there's two calves. Same herd, but just shows the difference. He was sick at one point, probably pneumonia. There's a calf, was never sick. And it just goes to show you, it makes a huge difference. The biggest battle when you're at the calves is trying to make sure nothing goes wrong with them, because as soon as something goes wrong, you end up with that. You end up with these lovely batch of big lads, and then you end up with them 20 smaller lads that you're just wondering what you gotta do with them. But overall, I'm quite happy. The big batch of calves have done excellent. Our small batch of calves, the middling, the ones that took a lot of time and effort, they have done quite well. Now I'm happy with how they've performed. While in general you'd prefer they were better, but in general terms of being the sick batch, they've done quite well. So now we want to take out a lot of them lighter ones, like him and a few others, maybe 10, 15. Take them out, take out the heifer and her calf and the cow and her calf, and get these ready for going down to the other shed. So here we have the other calves from the other batches. The other two batches are middle batches, as we call them, and we'll just have moved last machinery down there. The other calves are going in the bottom end of that shed, but this is them. Mixed batch, some of them great calves. There's 4168. There's Chunkosaurus. Bit of a problem with her two middle batches this year, and it was like every year there's something different we never seen happen the previous year that causes a problem. And the problem we had with these ones this year, we dosed with a drench in the end of July. All the calves, and that's when we sorted that, took out the good calves. They went to the big field, and the bad calves all went to the bridge field, and they all done well. But these two batches of calves were rotating, one batch down the bottoms and other batch on another farm on bottoming ground there. We dosed them with the drench. 3 weeks later, we run a system every 4 weeks. We dose and we try and change up the dose. We use a drench, we use a pour on, we use different products, keep it changed for stop worm resistance. That was the theory. 3 weeks after dosing them, the calves had started to pine, they were starting to fail, they were not looking good. I was just not happy with them at all. One batch, I just said, "Feck this," into the 3rd week, and went and dosed them. The other batch weren't looking as bad. They were pining, but they weren't as bad. We left them. On the 4th week, the end of the 3rd week, beginning of the 4th week, we got the vet out to see what was wrong. We suspected maybe worms, but shouldn't have been worms, because we dosed them out 3 weeks before, and you should get a bit of coverage out of it going into the 4 weeks before you do them again. So we thought maybe it was something different, so we said we better get the vet just to be sure. He took egg samples. The ones that had batched were dosed. They were dosed 3 days before he took the test. Egg count was 250. The batch I didn't dose, the egg count was 4,000, and that was just over 3 weeks, heading for 4 weeks after being dosed with a drench. It's one of the highest egg counts you ever seen in calves. So we just went in and we dosed them, and they just never really recovered. That period just kind of caught them out, and the reason behind it was 2 reasons. The drench is a there and now kill, so you give it to them 1-2 days, clears out whatever's in them. 3-4 days later, they start picking up worms again. A pour-on dose or an injectable dose gives you a bit of coverage, so it'll kill worms for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Some doses kill for a long time. That's why third or works for a long period of time. That's why we like using it. The problem was, in our part of the country, we kind of had always a little bit of rain every now and again. I was very warm all summer long, and it was quite a bad worm year in our area. And because they were on bottomy ground, which would be always wetter ground, that's where the worms really are most active. And even though we work a rotational grazing system, so they keep going round in a circle, the worm burden in every paddock was just building and building and building. Our vet advised us next year only use the one product every so many weeks, and we'll take regular egg counts to see how it's going. It was just something that kind of caught us off guard, and it did set this 2 batches of calves back. And the other calves, even though they got the very same treatment, they were perfectly fine. The bridge slightly drier bit of ground, and the other field much drier ground, and yeah, that's just where we kind of got caught out. But it is what it is. We know for next year. And I'm also thinking of reseeding some of the paddocks that they were on with multi-species swards with antimelentic plants, so the likes of chicory, bird's foot and trefoil is what I'm thinking of, just to see can we break some of that worm burden in the rotation. But that's them. So here we have the last batch of bulls to go in, and our best performing batch of bulls that were outside. Average daily weight gain of this shed pen of bulls, wherever we want to put, on grass, 1 kilo a day. Done exceptionally well. All the bulls have done exceptionally well this year. Best year ever for the bulls. We tweaked their grazing rotations. We put our lightest bulls went out on our best performing bit of ground, and they done quite well for being poor calves. And we actually have the least amount of bulls that won't make the 500 kilos before 24 months ever. Just bulls this year, excellent. The grazing this summer with them bulls, perfect. Could not ask for better. And them bulls there, which is our Jersey Boys, Speckled Parks, average daily weight gain, they're even on the Jersey Boys, kilo a day. Perfect. Superb. Them bulls done superb in that bit of ground they were on. Different story when we cross over the other side of the yard and we come to our heifers and our bullocks. They didn't do so well. So our heifers and bullocks are this side. We have bulls this side. Them bulls done alright, but the heifers and bullocks did not do so well. Last year our bullocks, best bullocks ever by miles. And we were expecting, with the heavier weights going out, we were going to have better bullocks coming in. We thought we were on the pig's back. But this year the bullocks went to a different piece of ground that the heifers were always on, and just no, daily weight gains weren't there. Just very disappointed with how they done. The heifers are the same as every other year, but the bullocks, and it really has me thinking now that the farm that them cattle were on isn't feeding right. That's what it has in my mind now. It's not a good bit of feeding ground, because the bullocks should have done better, because last year's bullocks done superb on a different piece of ground, and with the bullocks going out heavier this year than they did last year, I was expecting them to come back heavier. Didn't do so well. I think that is just a bit of ground that they were on isn't good feeding ground for cattle. But yeah, that's just that. But anyways, we're gonna move last of these machinery and we get all these boys into their sheds. But that kind of sums up how the cattle have done for the summer. Everything is in the sheds now once they go in. Yeah, that time of the year again. And now, quite some time later, we'll have them all in the shed. Happy days, happy days. If you have any interest in Herdwatch, there'll be links in the description down below. And also Herdwatch is free, so there'll be a link to the free version, and also they're now doing verified ads with Herdwatch, and that's also on the free version, so check that out if you're interested. But anyways, that's really it. We've done all the cattle, everything is in the shed. Winter is real and truly here now because everything is in. So now all the winter foddering and winter mucking and rooting and tearing really does start. But anyways, we're going to leave it at that for today's video. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That's it from us. Good luck.